This is a Crack House Chronicles production.
Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man who's close to being a millionaire. He has all the zeros, he just needs the one. It's Dale.
Yeah, that and a couple commas.
That's it.
That's all we need.
Yeah, just got to get it all in order and lined up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Been stockpiling the zeros for a while.
You've been piling them up, ain't you?
It's like the old McDonald thing, the Monopoly. You got every piece, just need that one more to lock it all together.
Yeah. And you just...
the one you never can get.
Never can get. It's just always there, but it's not there.
That's right.
What's going on today, dude?
Same old, same old.
Same old back in the Crack House doing an episode. We got a episode today that needs to get out there to our listeners.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, but you got any good shout outs anybody want to mention before we get going?
Well, I would like to give a little shout out to our friend of the show, Chris Cook, and his wife Tina. He messaged me the other day and said that Stephanie Harlow had mentioned us on her show.
And she has a YouTube channel.
She does, and she has a massive following, and she was doing a show on Lindsay Buziak, and actually she used the say that, how you say that? Excerpt. She was part of our show. Anyway, we did an interview with Lindsay's dad, and she used a little clip from that on her show. So
she did. That
was pretty cool. So thanks, Chris, for giving us a head up, because otherwise I would have never known it.
Yeah, Stephanie, her channel, she's got close to 1 million followers.
Yes, she does.
And mentioned us on her show. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's little old us.
Yeah, little old us and Crack House Chronicles.
Yeah. Making it big.
That's right. Well, but man, we got a wild episode. It's out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Horry County.
Yeah.
And this is on Amber Marie Berbiglia. This lady was 23 years old and was murdered in 2013. It's still unsolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of sketchy stuff going on in there, man.
Yep. So
we'll get the word out.
Yeah. So we get back from this short break. We're going to get into it, Dale.
That's right.
All right, Dale, we are back. And, dude, on this week's episode, we are talking about a lady from South Carolina.
Right.
Horry County. Her name is Amber Marie Berbiglia. And this beautiful lady, 23 years old, was murdered down there.
Yeah, very beautiful.
And this case is still unsolved.
Yeah, and there's not a lot out there on it.
No.
I mean, even in our research, it's hard to find anything, really.
Yeah. And we reached out to the lady that runs Justice for Amber Berbiglia's Facebook page. And her name is Gina Stevens, and she is a longtime family friend. She is a spokesperson for the family, an advocate for Amber, and she has done the legwork and the research on this case and trying to find justice for Amber.
She needs it.
Yeah, and we reached out to her, and she has agreed to come on the show and talk about Amber and everything we need to know and stuff that's not out there and answer some questions we have.
Awesome.
So we want to welcome Gina Stevens to the show. Welcome to the show, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you because, like I mentioned, there's not a lot of information on Amber's case out there. And we want to know more about it and get people to know who she was and talk about her a little bit.
Okay.
Let's just start at the beginning. Tell us who Amber was.
Okay. So I actually, like you said, I am friends with Amber's family and have known them for a very long time. And so let me give you a little bit of background about Amber. So Amber was born on July 16th, 1989 in Poughkeepsie, New York, to the parents of Michelle and Peter. She grew up almost all her life in New York. In fact, she graduated from high school there. And she was always a very bubbly person. She was very creative. She had a draw for fashion, even as a young child. She did the typical kid things, like as her sister once told me, one summer, Amber kept sneaking out of the house through the window at night to go party with friends. But she did that typical kid stuff that we've probably all done.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing, we all go through those phases. And, nothing that got her or landed her in trouble with the law or anything like that, but just those kids' mysterious things. So she was always very social as a child.
Yeah, everybody's done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so nothing out of the ordinary, what I would consider, a flag of any sort,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she graduated from high school, and like I said, she had this love for fashion and design, even as a young child. So she moved to South Carolina back in 2008, and she attended HORRY Georgetown Technical College for fashion and design. She was 2 weeks away from graduating.
Wow.
So keep that in mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In 2011, she went abroad and studied a little bit in London, England for a few weeks. And lo and behold, while she was in London, she met the love of her life. And that was Jose.
Okay.
He was also in London at the time studying abroad.
So where was he from originally?
He was from Spain.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you would think, so she comes back here to the U.S., obviously, and thinking, okay, she's telling her friends, all about him. She was just so excited. Her friend said when she came back, she just raved about him. And they thought, well, okay, this isn't going to work because this is a, long distance relationship. Well, they dated for 2 years.
Wow.
And he finally popped the question and they got engaged. So it wasn't an overnight fling or anything like that. He came here to the U.S. and she'd gone over there once, maybe twice. I'm not really sure about that one, but I know definitely the once.
Mm-hmm.
And they got engaged. They were to be married on June 22nd, 2013. Amber never got to see her graduation or her marriage.
That's a shame.
Because on May 3rd, 2013, she was murdered.
What was Amber doing that day? What was that May 3rd like for her? What was she starting out her day as?
She was really busy that day.
Yeah.
But I want to touch base on something before that, though.
Okay, go ahead.
On May 2nd, the night before, she was out with friends. Like I said, Amber was a social butterfly. And she had been at the bowling alley in North Myrtle Beach, and she was showing off her wedding dress. She'd met up some friends. One of her friends she met up with, she hadn't seen her in like 4 to 6 months because Amber had gone to work someplace else, and the paths just, people go down different paths in their lives.
Correct.
They were really good friends, but sometimes things just take you down different paths. And but when her friend had gotten there, Amber was fighting with this man who basically ended the argument with, well, find your own effing way home. And then he departed, and she went on with her friends to Molly Darcy's. And they partied, and sometimes Amber partied like a rock star. They partied to like well after 1 o'clock in the morning there. So that takes us up to May 3rd. And Amber starts her day off with getting her hair cut, and that had been scheduled.
Yeah.
And that was between 12 and 12:30. We know definitely for sure that she was at the hairdresser at 12:30 because she had called her best friend from the night before that she'd finally met back up with and was asking her if she minded if she used her same hair color. It's a girl thing.
I get it, yeah.
So we know that she definitely made it to the hairdresser to get her hair cut. And then we have several sightings with her on camera. The next time is at like 1:16 at the Club Wyndham. And do you want me to, I can give you the addresses to these if you think that would help.
If you want to, yeah, go ahead.
What is the Club Wyndham?
What is the Club Wyndham? Yeah.
So that's a hotel resort in North Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And that was at 410 South Ocean Boulevard.
Okay.
The next time her car was caught on camera was Atlantic Breeze Ocean Resort, and that was at 1:20. So it's only 4 minutes apart. So you can actually, and I've taken this and I've put this in Google Maps, and I've actually come up with a straight line as to what her path she was taking that day.
Okay.
At 1:45, she returned some clothing at Rouse's Dress for Less, and that was at the Tanger Outlets.
Okay.
We definitely know the timeline for this one because the camera from the store caught that time. So we definitely know, locked in, that's the time she was there.
And what time was that?
That was at 1:45.
Okay, thanks.
The next time that her car is picked up is at a Murphy's USA convenience store, which was right around the corner from Rouse's Dress for Less, at 2:00.
Is this the one that a lot of people use in their podcasts and stuff online, where she like goes in, you can see her go in with the leopard print shirt and buying something at the counter?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, that is the store that they took that from. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Now, my understanding from those is that those times on those cameras can be a couple minutes either way.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. So we have it at like 2:00.
Okay.
Then she paid her cable bill at the Time Warner, and that was at 2:11. So she really doesn't have any time between, or very little time between any of these stops yet to be doing anything other than, I'm on a mission.
So she's going from
get
one
all
place,
these
She's just
errands.
knocking it out.
one place to another, getting her stuff done.
One
Yeah.
place to another. I'm knocking this out. I've got all these errands I need to run because I need to be at work at 4:00.
Okay.
The next place was Bellano's Golf Cart and Buggy.
Okay.
Now that is no longer in the current location, but it used to be at 301 Main Street, and that's still in North Myrtle Beach. And that was at 2:15. So that's only 4 minutes from when she was at the cable company.
And what was that place? It's just what was it?
They just picked up so it was a golf cart rental. You could rent golf carts
Okay.
and buggies.
So she went there, or they just picked up her car going by?
They just picked up her
Okay.
car. So we know that there were cameras all along this route that they picked up her car that day.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, here's where it kind of gets a little sketchy. There are a couple other places which we have never been able to identify or confirm that picked up, or I should say time-wise. We know that her car was picked up. We don't have definite times for these. And they really don't fit into the path that she was taking. One was the Triple Star Auto Mart, and that was at 1539 Highway 17. She's seen on the camera. That camera did not capture a time.
Okay.
She was seen at 810 Billard and Bowling, which again is still on Highway 17. No time known there. And this Dodge's Southern Style convenience store. Now, this is where her car is picked up on camera. And then she doesn't come back into view of a camera for 30 minutes. So we have this 30-minute gap that we don't know where she was at. It appeared that it looks like maybe she went down a side road, or where she went when she turned down the side road, because she was not within camera. And again, those three locations kind of don't fit the pattern or the path that she took that day.
Very odd.
Yeah.
But what really makes it interesting is that at 2:35, the friend that she met up with the night before, her best friend, one of her best friends, and an old manager from her previous employer get a text message from her at 2:35. And this is really significant, I feel, because this is within that time frame where she's missing for that half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, she sent a text message, and the message to them was something on the lines of, "Hey, did you hear I'm sleeping with beep?" Which is a very odd message to me, considering, one, I don't know why she would have ever sent that to an old manager from her previous employer.
Yeah.
or why, if she would even send that her best friend at the time said, she hadn't talked to her for 4 or 5 months. Why out of the blue she would have received that text message? It almost seems as if maybe they were intentionally targeted to receive that message.
Yeah, very odd.
It's just very odd. And it certainly didn't fit into what she was doing that day.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to go from just on a mission, paying bills and getting stuff done, to a real cryptic message.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one's baffled me. That one really baffles me. I've even gone through the scenario in my head, did Amber really send it?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
And maybe the name on the phone was like, oh, we'll just pick this name here.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, it was Amber's phone, but
right.
It just doesn't. That one just really blows my mind with this. This one baffles me.
Had she ever seen any text like that before, or
no? This was totally out of context for something that she would have ever sent.
Well, especially if she hadn't talked to these people in a while, an ex-manager. Why would you send him that anyway? Unless his name was close to someone else's name and somebody didn't know the difference.
Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, and I've even thought about maybe she already knew at that point that she was in trouble, and she just sent it randomly, quickly picked 2 people out of her phone, thinking, well, they're going to get this message and call me back and say, hey, what the heck?
Right.
Yeah. But unfortunately, her best friend from the night before had gone to bed, so she didn't get that message until later that evening. And her ex-manager also had not seen that until Amber had already been killed.
Wow.
So neither one of them had seen the message at the time.
So weird.
Very weird.
So then the next report that we have, and this we have not been able to confirm, is that her neighbor that lived above her, and she lived at Golf Colony, said around 3:15, and this is 45 minutes or 40 minutes from the time this text message comes out. 40 minutes later, her neighbor says that she hears Amber say, "What are you doing in here?" And she heard a little bit of scuffling, but then everything went quiet. And she said she thought about calling the office, but then she remembered it was a Friday, and they usually went home early from the office.
Okay.
So she didn't call. And everything got quiet. So she just thought, okay. But she says, she swears to what she still says to this day, because she said she had her sliding glass door. It was warm outside. She had her sliding glass door open, so she could hear everything in Amber's apartment downstairs.
Had she ever heard anything from Amber's apartment before? Anything?
No.
Okay.
No. She said Amber was a really quiet neighbor.
Okay.
So, and she had not been contacted by the police. In fact, she had no idea that anything had happened to Amber until she saw Amber's family cleaning out her apartment and crime scene tape there, and the police were finally there, but that was a day or 2 later.
Did the apartment have any cameras around anywhere to pick up anybody coming and going? Parking lot cameras or anything?
If there were cameras, nobody has stepped forward to say that they had seen cameras there. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was at 3:15.
Okay.
And then at 4:00, Amber was supposed to be at work, and she worked at Greg Norman's Australian Grill. And again, that is in North Myrtle Beach. She never got there because at 4:12, the call came into 911 that a body had been found off of Old Sanders Road underneath the Robert Edge Parkway. And initially, North Myrtle Beach was called out, although it was later identified that the jurisdiction belonged to Horry County.
Okay.
So all the dash cam videos that you see will be from North Myrtle Beach and not Horry County, because the wrong department was dispatched out to that call.
Now, this call came in from a couple of guys riding 4-wheelers, correct?
These were high school kids at the time, yes.
Oh, wow.
So this was an area that was pretty well known for high schooler kids to ride their four-wheelers. We call it mud bogging in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yep. And so it had rained that day. And if, you can see on the one, if you go out to the Justice for Amber site, we have a picture of Amber's car. So everything you ever saw on the news was her car underneath the overpass getting loaded onto a jury dan or whatever those trucks are. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that's not where her car was at. Her car was kind of off of on the side of the bridge there in a dirt path that the kids had pretty well worn from their four-wheelers. And it was just behind a bend where you really couldn't see it from the road. So it was a little hidden.
Okay, so it wasn't right on the side of the road then?
It was not on the side of the road, no.
Okay, because when you first hear about overpass, you think about a really busy road, but when we looked it up, you can kind of tell it's a kind of a rural-looking place. It's kind of a main highway going over top, but the road actually underneath was just kind of there with a big muddy field out beside of it.
Yep, correct. Yeah, it was a very rural area at the time. Now, today it looks totally different because they're developing that area. But back in 2013, there were very few houses spattered across that roadway, along that roadway there. It was very rural. Like I said, it was a great place. The kids loved to ride their four-wheelers there, and that's what they did after school. And two boys said that they had seen Amber's car, and it was running. So her car was still running. And they had seen her passenger or her driver's door open. And they'd made a pass down. And then when they came back, and they said it was probably about maybe 10 minutes later, they noticed that her car was still there. The door was still open and running, but they didn't see anybody. Mm-hmm. So they decided that they would go and maybe this person needed to be pulled out. They thought maybe she was stuck in the mud.
Right. Which would make sense.
And when they got to her car, they said they noticed that things just didn't look quite right. They found a shoe not far from her door. And so they started looking around, and that's when they found her body. And it was face down. The police thought when they got there that she had been shot in the head, but that's not what happened, according to the autopsy.
What did the police think when they first got there? Did they think it was some kind of drug deal gone bad, something like that, or what was their first thought?
Yeah, so on the dash cam, you can clearly hear the police officer saying that, oh, this is just a drug deal gone bad. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty bad. If you listen to the dash cam, it's heartbreaking to think. I mean, they were, just not really, I think, it was like, oh, okay, this is a drug area. This is a drug gone bad, blah, blah, blah. They even made fun of her name at one point when they found out what her last name was. Very unprofessional, I believe. And that's just my opinion. When I listen to that dash cam, it's heartbreaking. It's even more heartbreaking when 911 gets there and they tell them that they picked up that her body obviously is still warm. Mm-hmm. And that they picked up a faint heartbeat. They picked up one.
And they initially thought that she'd been shot in the face, correct?
Correct, yes. Because of the way that the injury was. Mm-hmm. She died of blunt force trauma to the head. The murder weapon is a boulder. It has been described to me as being the size of 4 basketballs. So that's a large rock. Yeah,
no doubt. Was the rock near her body when they found her? Was it close by, or they just happened to discover it?
I don't know that information. I'm going to say that it's a possibility because there are rocks. When I've gone out there and walked, there are rocks kind of just spattered anywhere around there just by nature in general. So I'm not sure of exactly how far it was from her body, but there was blood on the rock. So this is how they know that it was the weapon. They call it a weapon of opportunity. This was not something that they brought with them.
So was she hit with a rock, or was she hit on the rock? Does that make sense? Because
yes,
if it's so big, it's just, how would they lift it up? You know what I mean? I just don't know. Was she? I don't know.
They smash her face into the rock, or
right,
or they pick up the rock and smash her with it. Yeah,
or do they know?
That is well, if they know, they have not disclosed that information. I don't have that. I've thought that myself. I've even gone through where I've put that information into AI, because I'm more of a technical person.
Right.
And I've said, okay, give me a list of all rocks that would be common in this area. And so it came back, that would be, and I said, okay, now if I had this particular type of rock, like whether it be slate or whatever, if it was for the size of 4 basketballs, what would the weight of this rock be? And it's come back with anywhere from 110 to about 160 pounds. So that's about a 50-pound difference depending on what type of rock it is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know which type of rock it is.
My God.
But either which way, it's over 100 pounds. And I had questioned the same thing. Is it that they picked it up? Because if that's the case, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm visualizing someone who's very muscular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not out of the question, but it's extreme.
Well, they told me, and this was Lieutenant Lunt actually from Horry County, is that this rock, they have it in their evidence room, or at least they had it last year. And it is so big that it's hard for them to move around.
I just wonder if it was a rock left over from, construction or something, or putting in the road, or putting in the bridge, or something, left there from time gone by.
Yeah.
Either way.
It could be any of.
It could be anything.
Any of those.
Brought in from somewhere, too. Now,
well, I'm sure they didn't bring it with them.
Yeah, or doing construction, the rock was brought in, part of something else. I don't know.
But damn, that's big, dude. I mean, to be able to, especially twice.
Yeah.
I mean, you might can muscle it up to do it one time, but if it's that big, why would you think you need to do it twice?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or the force to be able to smash her face into it.
Good Lord.
Either way, it's going to be brutal. It doesn't matter. So they found her cell phone there too, right?
They did. Her cell phone was only inches from her hand, and it was ringing with text messages and phone calls, because it was unusual for her not to be at work on time. Yeah. So her call, when 4:00 came and she didn't show up for work, they're calling, checking, how far out are you? Maybe she got stuck in traffic, or, a whole bunch of other things can happen. But obviously she never picked up that phone.
Yeah. So Gina, I want to go back to the bowling alley. She was there that night showing her dress and having a good time. Mm-hmm. And you said there was a guy that told her that she can find her own effing way home.
Mm-hmm. Was she with him?
How did she get there that night to begin with?
She drove.
Okay.
I believe she drove, because she did drive she drove home from Molly Darcy's. And she was intended that night to party like a rock star, Yeah. She's celebrating. She had just taken her last final from school. She felt really good about passing. Her wedding was coming up. Amber was ready to party like a rock star.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
No, definitely. Yeah. Did she know this guy, or do we even know?
So that's an interesting one, because she did know him. She knew him because Amber had a heart of gold, and she was very trusting. And I think that's probably one of the things that got her into the position that she was at. She was very trusting of people.
Yeah.
And where we would see maybe something not good about a person, Amber always saw the good in everybody. She could always find something good about somebody. She had met him. He was hitchhiking one night in the rain, and she felt bad for him because it was raining and he was hitchhiking on the side of the road, and she picked him up.
Wow.
And she come into the restaurant. She used to work at overtime. She'd come in and had brought him into overtime, and her friends had a fit about her picking up this hitchhiker.
Oh, yeah.
Which they should.
And rightfully so.
Yes.
And so that's how she met him, actually.
Wow.
So yeah, she did know him. Yeah. The other two gentlemen that were with him that night, one was a coworker from overtime again, and the other one was a friend of the guy, the hitchhiker she had picked up. She did not know him. As far as we know, she did not know him, and her friends did not know who he was.
And we don't know what the argument was about.
We do not. No. That was before her girlfriend had gotten there. Apparently, it was whatever it was about. It was already over, and like I said, it ended with him going his way with his two friends, and Amber going her way with her friends.
Yeah,
and
it sounded like she just blew it off and went ahead and had her good time.
Right.
What was Amber's circle like? Her circle of friends. Did she have a wide circle of friends, or is it a close knit, tight circle that you know of?
She had a couple of close-knit friends. But the last 4 months, I'm going to say, she had actually been more, she had this friend that she had met through school. He had gone to technical or HORRY technical. He was also into fashion. He would dress as Barbie at the drag queen clubs down there. And Amber had been going with him down there to those clubs the last 4 months. And they took a lot of photos together. You'd see them on Facebook. You'll see her, you'll see him, so they spent a lot of time together. So other than, like I said, she had a lot of friends, because I went down there, I've been down there for her memorial. I walked North Myrtle Beach. I had a bright orange shirt with Amber's picture on it and her dates of when she was killed. And I had bracelets made up, and I was handing bracelets out to anybody who would listen to me. I would just go from business to business.
Yeah.
And I did meet some people who actually knew Amber, had been friends with Amber. The one girl actually had been out with her at Molly Darcy's that night. And she was just very well liked. She was a lot of fun. They all describe her as being a ton of fun. Amber loved karaoke. She couldn't sing well, but she loved karaoke, and she wasn't shy to get up there on stage. But she was a typical, I'm going to say she was a typical young 20-year-old. We've all done, you're living your life.
Yeah, big fun, man.
Yeah, she was on her way. I mean, about to complete school, about to get married. I mean, she was on her way to do stuff. Yeah, her next chapter in her life.
Initially her friends said they were hesitant about her and Jose, and then once they got to meet Jose, it seemed like he really made Amber happy.
Yeah.
And Amber made him happy. So they kind of okay, we're going to accept it, because they were hesitant, and you can't blame, because they were thinking, oh, this is just going to be a male or bride type deal,
Yeah,
right.
But it didn't seem that way to them, and especially after they were together or dated for 2 years, they thought, okay, no, this really is the real deal.
Oh yeah. So he was in Europe when she was murdered.
Yes.
Okay.
He was.
Did they go through her cell phone and tear it apart and look at all her messages and everything she had?
At the time, no. I don't believe so, because we have, one of the things we wanted them to do was we wanted them, especially with the new technology of MBAC, we wanted them to take any evidence they had, and we wanted them to retest it under MBAC.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Her shirt, her pants, the rock.
Anything they can pull off of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was even told, doing some research, I came across that they can even get DNA and fingerprints off of a rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though it's a poor surface.
Absolutely.
And so I did question, they said that they did, when SLED first got the MBAC, that they did test the rock, the boulder, but it was inconclusive. So they didn't get anything off of that. They have never confirmed whether or not they've retested her clothing. I know that they said, her mom told me that they told her they got nothing from her car. which really surprises me if this person was in her car, how there was no DNA that they could get from her car. They told her mom that her car wasn't exactly the cleanest.
Well, whose is?
Yeah, really.
So
What is that?
There was no
What's that
sexual
mean?
assault, correct?
There was no sexual assault. She was not robbed. Her purse was still in the front seat of the car when the car was running. And there was nothing missing out of her purse.
And all her clothes was good.
Yes, her clothes were fine. She'd been tested for rape, a rape test,
Yeah.
and she was not sexually assaulted. So it's...
Well, if these guys called at whatever time, 4:12, and they got there and she was still warm, it had to happen when those kids, right before they got there.
Yes. And I've questioned, you said about this, let's go back to the cell phone a second.
Okay.
So we have been pushing them to re-examine all evidence that they got from that crime scene that day with new technology.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been hearing for the last year that they've sent her phone out, but they're still waiting for it to come back. I don't know whether it's just, this is how they're just pacifying us to say, oh yeah, we're doing something. But we're waiting over a year now to find out whether or not there's anything additional on her phone, because obviously technology has changed from 2013 to today.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah. Eons.
So, maybe they can ping it. I don't know.
I know.
It just befuddles me that that it takes that long. I mean, I know that these crime labs are really backed up and stuff, but over a year?
Yeah, and I don't guess geofencing was a big deal back in 2013, was it?
No.
Yeah, so they couldn't do anything like that, I don't guess. Pull anything off a cell tower or anything.
They could ping off of cell towers back then, but I think the range was much further out than what it is today.
Yeah, a little bit wasn't as precise as it is today.
Right.
What about the DNA under her fingernails? Did they find anything there where she'd maybe scratched something or scratched someone?
We were told that they have DNA. There's not a lot of DNA. In fact, it was so little that they could not. We were under the impression that it went to CODIS. But we found out probably about a year ago that that's not the case, that the DNA was so small it never went through CODIS. And we did try to secure funding to take that DNA into a lab that's specialized in Florida they specialize in deteriorated, very small traces of DNA and are able actually to pull out a bigger profile that can later be put into the CODIS. We were declined that. They said that this has to stay with SLED.
What the heck?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I do know that they swabbed people.
Oh, really?
So they did swab. They swabbed the guy that she was with at the bowling alley. They swabbed him. They swabbed her best friend that was with her the night before.
Okay.
Well, then you would think they had a little more than what they're saying. If they're swabbing people, unless they're just hoping they can find something later on, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you swab people if you don't have nothing to compare it to?
I was told that they have touch DNA and they could do a 1-to-1, but they have to do a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But with technology today, there's no reason why a lab cannot extract a larger DNA profile from that sample that they have, even if it's deteriorated.
Yeah, 100% they can do it today.
What was the rest of Amber's body like? Was she bruised in any way, scratched anywhere, or besides her?
Like she been in a fight?
Yeah.
Or attacked, or she attacked someone?
She had defensive wounds on her arms. She had a lot of defensive wounds on her arms. Well, the funeral director requested that she have a long, like a turtleneck and long sleeve shirt.
Because of all the wounds and stuff?
Yeah, it was to cover up the things that they couldn't cover up, with makeup and things like that. They also were instructed to make sure that they kept people away from her casket because Amber's skull was fractured in 2 places. And they were afraid that if somebody would go up to touch her, that her skull might fall apart.
Wow.
Jesus.
So
This girl,
not to be gruesome or anything like that, but it's the reality of how brutal this murder was. And this happened in broad daylight. This is 4
4 in the afternoon, yeah. And it had to happen right as those kids were coming. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, they had to have just missed it.
On the side of the road, yeah.
Just missed it.
Yep. I believe that too. And it's like, so if Amber's body is warm and these kids come upon her, this person obviously didn't take her car to leave that scene. They left on foot.
Oh, yeah.
And how could they have gotten away so quickly?
Now, these kids, they didn't hang around, did they? They just saw her and called it in and left.
No, they stayed there.
Oh, they did?
They did stay there, yeah. They had gone past her car initially, and then when they were coming back and still saw it there is when they stopped. So, but they did stay. One of them met the officers down by the road on Old Sanders Road, and the other one stayed with his vehicle, his 4-wheel vehicle.
I think we'd heard somewhere they'd left. But anyway, that's neither.
No, they did not.
Good for them. I'm glad they stayed.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess these boys, they were questioned pretty good too, right?
So they don't think maybe she met someone there. It was in another vehicle. They think that someone was with her in the vehicle.
That's, I've heard people say maybe it was a road rage incident. There has never been any mention of additional tracks that would indicate that somebody had gone back there with her. At least when the boys had gone down and already seen her car running.
Yeah.
There was not another vehicle there. It was only her vehicle.
Yeah, I don't think a road rage, you're not going to jump out and grab a 100-pound boulder,
Right. But, people said the road rage thing because they thought that she was literally just under the underpass on the road, not
Right.
off the road. So I think that's where those rumors kind of came from.
Correct.
I think we just learned last year, right before the memorial, we were putting signs out. And we stopped across the street, which would be the closest house to where her memorial site is, and asked the woman if it was okay that we could put a sign in her yard. And we were surprised to find out that she actually knew somebody who was in Amber's social circle.
No way. That's wild,
And
isn't it?
they weren't related, but she said they're as close as family, is what she said. This person apparently knew either her nephew, niece, or somebody, or nephew or grandson, and that they considered this person like family. So we were surprised to find that there was somebody in Amber's social circle that was familiar with the area. Obviously, that doesn't mean they're guilty or anything like that. But it was a new finding for us.
You think it's just happenstance, or there's something to it, or coincidence?
I think it definitely needs to be investigated, or at least questioned further.
Yeah.
So this underpass, is it anywhere where she would be traveling anyway? Like if she was going to where she lived to work, or is it just kind of way out of the way?
It's not way out of the way. It would not have been her normal path to work.
Okay.
It would have been, in that aspect, it would not have been the way that she would have taken. It's only about 9 minutes from her home.
Okay. I'd just be interested to see if when they get the phone records back, who she was talking to, if somebody wanted to meet her there or something, or
it could have been back to where she said, "Why are you doing here?" And she could have been taking whoever the neighbor heard somewhere.
Very true.
And that's where it ended up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of, we don't know, we're just speculating all this, but we're just...
Yeah, there's a lot of speculations. Things that we've heard, like, to give you a good example, a year after Amber's murder, there was a gentleman who contacted her mom, Michelle, and wanted to talk to her, wanted to meet with her, said he had information about Amber. Michelle met him at her home. And he arrived in a weight work truck, no lettering on the truck. And he had told Michelle that a dancer from Bottoms Up, which used to be a gentleman's club in North Myrtle Beach, had overheard a conversation of someone telling them, well, they had to kill her because she was putting their business out on the street. Now, we gave this information to the detectives. This man denies even calling Michelle or even knowing Michelle at all. But I find that hard to believe because she had his name and his number in her phone. So this isn't just somebody that just happened to, that she just pulled out of thin air and said, hey, I'm going to say that he said this. This is a person I believe wholeheartedly definitely visited with Michelle and gave her this information.
Yeah, and then lied to try to just stay out of it.
And then lied, yeah. And he did tell Michelle at the time he did not want to get involved.
Well, of course, Michelle's got to tell authorities. I mean, dadgum. I mean, it's information about her daughter.
Yep.
But
and then the stripper's name that he gave her was Coral. And so I did some deep diving into their Facebook webpage, and I did find out that at that time there was a dancer by the name of Coral at that bar. So, this was not a place that Michelle knew anything about. She'd never been there. I don't know how she would have known this girl's name.
she wouldn't have just dreamed it up.
No.
Right.
No, that's not your average stripper name.
No.
Or, excuse me, dancer name.
Exactly.
Right. Dancer name.
Yeah.
But so, there have been things that have happened over the years that, people have come and said, and we're like, But again, this is just speculation on our part. Nothing has ever been confirmed. Nothing's ever been said, but it just seems odd to me, a little out of place, that Michelle knows this man who comes to see her, that she doesn't know him, but she has his name in her phone, and then he says, no, I never talked to her.
Huh. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of business he was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff goes on in those kind of places. You can get by what you want.
But I can tell you that shortly after Amber's murder, all of the strip clubs, Jimmy Richardson had closed them down. They voluntarily closed down. And from what I've read on the media and stuff, is to really avoid drug trafficking and prostitution charges.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That's about what.
Wow. So what's the biggest theory you and the family are looking at? What do you think happened to Amber?
I believe it's somebody that she knew. I don't believe it was a stranger. When I look at the timeline and the half-hour gap that we have there,
That's the key.
I don't know. I'm torn between that one because I really see two paths that could go down.
Yeah.
I could see that she was surprised by somebody in her apartment. But I can also see the possibility is that she picked up somebody going down that side road and that she never really got to her house. Now, the police did tell us at one point that in a video when she came back off of that half hour that she was missing, that there was a dark shadow in her car. We had an advocate who went with Michelle and has viewed those videos, and it was inconclusive. She could not say that it was a person. To her, it looked more like the way the sun was coming in.
Okay.
So where the police have said in the media, there was this dark person that was in her car, we can't say that because we don't see that.
Okay.
For sure. We can't 100% say, oh, yeah, that's a person who's in her car. We don't know that. So there's quite a few things that are still very unknown about Amber's case. And, it's why I really want to get Amber's story out there. I want people because when I was walking the streets of North Myrtle, I was still amazed at the amount of people who said, "Hey, I've lived here all my life and I never even heard of this story."
Yeah. There's not much information out there, though. That's what's crazy.
I know it.
It's not.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It kind of like got swept under the carpet, and I realized that Bike Week was not, I think it was like 3 weeks after Amber was murdered. Mm-hmm. And it's a tourist area.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think, it got really swept under the carpet as fast as it could, because who wants tourists to come and have a bad rap like that? Oh, we just had a murder in broad daylight. Doesn't look good for business.
No, for sure.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
And so, I've been really working as many avenues as I possibly can to get Amber's story out there. At this point in time, it's, we're looking at, May will be 13 years.
Yeah.
Her killer could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's what you told me on the phone the other day.
Anywhere or anybody.
Yeah, anywhere in the country.
It could be anywhere. They could even actually technically be out of the country, but
very true.
But they could be anywhere in the United States. So it's not just good enough to have this story out in South Carolina around Myrtle Beach or North Myrtle. We really have been focused on getting it out there across the whole U.S. because somebody one day will talk.
Yeah.
That's the hope, yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or maybe somebody that was in that area. Somebody may know somebody in that area and go, hey, they came back pretty quick.
Yeah, somebody was acting different when they came back.
Right.
Yeah. They're covering up something. So, we're really focused on getting her story out there. I'll be back out at North Myrtle again. I live in Pennsylvania, but I guarantee you I will be back out at North Myrtle. I will have my shirt on. I will have more bracelets, and I will just keep walking the streets in every business I can go to. I even was bold enough to go to Molly Darcy's.
Wow.
And hand out bracelets.
Good for you.
I'm not afraid to do that. I feel so bad for her family. Her mom is totally broken.
Well, Michelle, she's not in good health either. Didn't she have a stroke or something here a while back?
She did.
Yeah.
And so she has her health issues. Amber's dad, Peter, he has health issues. Her grandmother passed away in 2024 without knowing whatever happened to Amber. Her aunt and uncles that I speak with, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Every time I see them and I talk to them, and it's like, I just can't believe that it's gone on this long. I thought for sure that this would have been solved. But like you said, there's so much misinformation out there, or no information.
Yeah, no information.
Correct,
yeah. We started looking into this. Yeah, and I was like, gosh, Dale, is there enough information to do an episode on?
It was just like very, very, very little.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got a hold of you, and it was like, well, she's got a lot of information.
Yeah, when I talked,
so this is much better.
When I talked to you on the phone, and I called Dale up, I said, yeah, this lady's got information that we need to be able to put this in the show and get this out there for people.
Yeah,
to
we
listen
got to
to.
get this out, right?
Yeah.
And I will tell you up front, my Facebook page for Justice for Amber has been suspended several times.
Really? For what? Yeah. For what reason?
Not following community standards, and the last 2 times was cybersecurity.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody's going in there and doing something.
So I don't know if somebody's intentionally trying to shut us down,
but it's not going to.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's not going to stop me because I've got a website. I have a URL. I'm going to bring up a regular website that's not controlled by Facebook, and I will put Amber's site out there.
Is this site ready to go, or is it still in the works?
It's in the works.
Okay.
But I'm actually not really into building websites, but if anybody would like to help, please reach out to me because I will take any help I can get for that.
Yes.
But I pay for it. I host it. I 100% fund anything for Amber's site. We did do a GoFundMe for a big billboard in North Myrtle Beach back in 2024, hoping that it would spark, 2024, hoping it would spark some new leads, but it didn't, unfortunately. That we did get funding through a GoFundMe. So, but other than that, everything else for Amber, I have funded.
Wow. What
I'm not a nonprofit, but I don't have a problem funding these things.
It just seems like such a personal attack.
It does.
This murder is a fight, and then a rock is the murder weapon is just
up close and personal.
Very much so. Yes, it's just like you said. It sure seems like she knew him, or I don't know. It's just to me, it's just the whole thing is odd. And then the car's still running. She almost didn't take her phone nor her money or nothing.
Well, they got out of there quick. They had to get out of there quick.
Yeah, they still could have grabbed her money if that's
Very
what they
true.
wanted.
If they was wanting money,
or the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
And it looks like to me, over a year trying to check somebody's phone is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
All this investigation is ridiculous. They need to speed this up. Get this going.
They need to do something. Period. I don't even know if they've even started. It just seems like it is giving you a runaround to me.
Gina, what can our listeners do to help, and who can they contact if they have any information? And we'll put all this stuff in our show notes and in our socials too. But who can people contact?
Well, of course, obviously they can call the Horry County detectives. There is no longer a Crime Stoppers in Horry County. They disbanded that a couple years ago. But they can call Horry County Police Department, ask for Detective Woodruff. He is the lead detective on this case. Our biggest question, or if you know something, if anybody knows anything, please reach out. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to the police, reach out to me.
Yeah.
I will definitely give you my email address that you can post on your site if you'd like.
For sure.
I understand some people don't like to talk to the police, but if you know anything at all, please speak up. It may seem small to you, but it may actually be what we need to solve this case, or at least to move it forward. We're going to ask the listeners to spread the word, spread Amber's story. Everybody if you can.
Yeah. We'll get all of our listeners to share this episode and share it on their socials too. Yeah.
And, like I said, Amber was a very trusting, hug your kids, hug your family, because you don't know when you may not see them again.
Very true.
So sad.
It is sad. Wow.
Amber did not go down without a fight. I guarantee you that. She fought hard, and she almost survived. If she could have gotten up the hill to the Robert Edge Parkway, she would have survived.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that when she took out of her car, I believe that's where she was trying to run to, was on top of the overpass.
Really?
I believe so. Because there is a path along that bridge. It's a concrete path that goes up to the Robert Edge Parkway. And that's a busy parkway. There's always tons of cars flying up there.
Oh, yeah. I've been through there many times.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's where, because that's where it looked like she was trying to run, like she was trying to get up that embankment.
Yeah, I'd just like to see the perp, what they look like after she got done with them. If she hurt them any, if she fought hard. I hope she got some good licks in anyway. This is just so sad. I hate it for Michelle, the family, and you doing all this work. It's just unreal. Y'all need some answers.
We would love some, believe me. Every year I keep saying this is going to be the year, and then the year goes by and still nothing. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like you. Any suggestions you have as to where we can turn next, if our listeners have them, please don't hesitate. I'm open to all suggestions.
Yeah.
I'll burn the candle on both ends.
Well said. We'll definitely put this out and promote it really hard and heavy. Try to get some answers for Amber. Well, Gina, we certainly appreciate you coming on and filling us in on all this and bringing some more attention to it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me and letting me tell Amber's story.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye. All right, Dale, we want to thank Gina again for coming on the show and filling us in on Amber and trying to get the word out, man.
And what's going on with that case.
Yeah, this lady, Gina, she's doing the work, man.
Boy, she is putting it in.
Yeah. So we're going to get this out there for our listeners, and try to get some answers for this family.
Yeah, and everybody, please share this episode. Let's get the word out. See if we can get some kind of get the ball rolling a little bit down there. It seems like they just keep getting running into a dead end after dead end after dead end, and it seems like you're not getting a whole lot of help.
I know. All right,
so
Dale.
It's got to be super frustrating.
I know. Well, we're gonna get out here, bud.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Just please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.